Hello and welcome back to another episode of the HRER podcast, where we delve into the world of HR emergencies and scandals. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to HRER on your favourite podcast platform.
Get ready for scandalous stories, lessons learned, and a generous dose of advice for HR professionals for navigating the HR landscape.
Our goal here is not just to entertain, but also to help you learn from the topics we touch on in order to save your business from its own emergency. We're going to talk about not only remote working, but like people working 2 or 3 jobs at once.
So we've got all this tech that enables people to be super productive, but then it also then brings in the questions around monitoring people, what's too much monitoring. For full-time employees, most will say that you are expected to give your full time and attention during your working hours to the company that's employing you.
Yeah.
How would you want to get to the bottom of this?
I want to drag him into my office by the ear.
Do you want to know what I'd do? Just before we start, protect your business from the risk of tribunal, reduce legal costs, and save yourself from HR headaches with our HRoes software and employment law consultancy services.
Welcome back, everybody. I've got the energy now.
And a new t-shirt.
And a new t-shirt to HRER. This t-shirt's reversible because there's a problem with money at the minute. No one's got enough money. Why not buy 2 t-shirts in one?
Can I ask you? I can see it's a Represent t-shirt.
Yeah.
What did that cost you?
£53.
What?
That's okay.
Oh my days, Ollie.
That's good.
It's a t-shirt.
That's good though. £53 for a t-shirt. It's good, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Nowadays.
No wonder you can only afford to buy 1 t-shirt that's reversible rather than 2. 53 quid for a t-shirt. No wonder that company's making so much money.
It's not just 1 t-shirt, was it? As we've been through, it's 2. So, you know. Normally, it's like 100 and some quid.
I am no wonder that. I mean, I see the Represent stuff everywhere. The people who come to where I live, very touristy area from particular parts of the UK, you see the hoodies everywhere.
They're from your village,
Yeah,
mate.
they are. So you see them everywhere. And I understand they're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
53 quid for a t-shirt.
Yeah. You should see.
Oh my God.
This is completely off piece, isn't it? But they do collabs with like Belstaff.
Yeah.
The Belstaff Represent jacket's about £1,000.
I mean, look, I'm not, like, anyone who knows me knows I'm not averse to spending money on clothes, shoes, handbags, whatever. I draw the line at paying 53 quid for a t-shirt.
Really?
Yeah. It's a t-shirt. It's going to wash out. Like,
it will. I will hold this though. I'll hold this in reserve for a moment when you're wearing an expensive item of clothing.
No, so look, I will quite happily admit that I will spend on shoes and, you know, a nice handbag or like a good, decent pair of jeans.
How much exactly? Because you didn't put, you didn't put a figure, did you?
Put that on a public podcast. Also, my husband will know how much money I spend. So no, like enough. But I would pair like a very expensive outfit with like a 15 quid t-shirt from Topshop.
Okay. That may be a sign of where different people spend money differently.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of money on shoes or anything, but I'll spend a bit of money on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I like images and pictures and stuff. Anyway.
Let's go to what we're actually supposed to be talking.
Yes. We're going to talk about quite a hot topic since sort of the inception of AI. Not only remote working, but like people working 2 or 3 jobs at once.
Yeah.
Which I've seen like just scrolling through LinkedIn down like the past year or so, you'll see people that like have been found out working 3 jobs, mainly software, because they've obviously got access to tools to let them just...
Not always software though. I mean, you see it also a lot in public services. So council workers, things like that, where typically not hugely being managed very well, monitored very well. You see it a lot in America as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
But these people are like visible. Like they're not...
No.
They work at home still?
Yeah, still work at home.
Right, okay,
yeah.
okay.
But there is a word for it. So I know when you've got like multiple partners in a marriage or whatever, you've got polygamy. There's a word around that I'm going to find the word.
But
you carry on. Yeah, I did. You carry on with your spiel when I'm going to find this word.
I'll do the intro. You do a bit of research. Okay. Hi, Alyssa. I hope you're keeping well and managing to stay cool during the heat. I would appreciate your advice on a tricky situation. We have a home-based employee and we think they may be working other jobs alongside the role with us. While we have no definitive evidence, there has been several occasions where they have not appeared to be fully available during their contracted working hours. And we've noticed a lot of their work seems to be AI generated. How do we find this out and whether they're in other employment? What surveillance measures can we put in place?
Polygamous working. I didn't need to overthink it. It was literally polygamous.
The same word.
Working, the same word. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a really interesting one. So it's something that obviously we've seen more and more of with the advent of flexible working, home working, people being able to make efficiencies with AI, so sort of finding additional time in their day. Some people use it to lie to their employer about, going off to walk the dog, going out for matcha and whatever. Versus people who will go, I know I can double my income and I can work even more hours. Weird. And compress it all in. You're like, who are these strange people who work so very hard?
Go home.
So we've got all this tech that enables people to be super productive. But then it also then brings in the questions around monitoring people, what's too much monitoring. And we've touched on it in a previous pod where we've talked about people being micromanaged. But here where we're actually trying to get to the bottom of what somebody's doing, we've got to make sure that we're not crossing lines in terms of how we investigate something like this. I mean, so as a layperson, how would you, I'm going to flip this on you, a layperson.
What's that mean?
Not in the sector, not in the industry. You're not a lawyer, you're not a HR person.
I'm just
as a layperson.
I'm just a bod.
As a bod.
As
okay.
a bod.
Oh my God. Who am I working
What
with? As a...
Civilian?
Yeah, that's basically what layperson is, but we're not in the military, so we're all civilians.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, like semantics aside...
Yes.
Is that another word I need to explain to you?
I know that one.
We've got that one. Good.
I know that one.
Sorry, that's very patronising. What would you do in this situation where you think, right, say we add to your team.
Yeah.
And you've got someone who you think, I suspect they're also working for another shop down the road. What's your instinct? How would you want to get to the bottom of this?
How would I want to get to the bottom of it? I'd want to drag him into my office by the ear.
Yeah.
Listen, you. Show me your
He
internet
works
history.
at home. He's not being dragged into the office.
Well, I'll drag myself into his house
right.
and say, "Listen, you."
So we're turning up at an employee's home.
We
Great
are.
start.
We are. I'm gonna check his internet history and be really invasive. Probably.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I can think of. That would be maybe not like the second bit. I'd want like a report or something of his activity, like one of the previous podcasts. I want like a 15-minute increment report.
Yeah. So we thought that was a bad idea before. Now you're like, he's onto something.
Yeah, it could be an AI monitoring thing,
Yeah.
I don't really know.
But also, if we're asking someone to account for their time in increments, and again, this is crossing over from the last pod, how honest is that person being? They could be telling us that activities are taking longer than they actually are. So say if you're not using AI and you are producing marketing content, say, that might take someone an hour to write some copy for something, but AI can do it in 5 minutes and have it checked and whatever and ready to go. If that person said, well, this marketing activity took me an hour, that's believable. But actually, if they were spending 55 minutes doing something else because AI did most of the heavy lifting for them, how are we to know?
Check the AI usage.
Well, so the point I'm making is on the time recording, that isn't actually helping us in this situation because we're also trusting that someone who we think is being dishonest about working for someone else is going to be honest about what they're doing. So time recording's probably out unless we're using clever software that does it for us, which again we referenced in old pods. So we'll draw a line in the sand for that one. What other kind of clever tactics do we think we've got? You've suggested checking someone's AI history.
My main thought
computer
is
history.
Spy on them.
Go and watch what they're doing. Drone outside the window and all that stuff.
Monocular.
Yeah.
Just bought my dad one of them, for Father's Day, yeah.
Do you want to know what I'd do?
What do you do? Because you know what you're talking about.
Ask them.
Ask, are you working for more people?
Are you working somewhere else?
What if
Are you prepared to put that in writing that you're not?
Oh.
Simply because if I find out they are lying to me later on, and all the fun investigative stuff that gets us all excited comes later, I don't actually have to prove that they're in breach of contract by working somewhere else. They've lied to me.
Oh.
And dishonesty at that level, potentially enough for gross misconduct.
Is it breach of trust? Is that what it's called?
It's giving me a back door to it, isn't it? That if I say, look, we've got some concerns over your productivity, your output and quality of what you're doing. Things don't seem to stack up. Look, we're going to go through stuff informally. We're going to make sure that we understand what your role is and make sure that you're being used effectively and efficiently. So we're doing all the right stuff. However, I'm also going to ask you to put it in writing to me that this is your only employment and that you're not working anywhere else.
Oh, that's not a bad idea, is it? That's like I'm trying to think of the term. That's kind of like a contract of truth.
It's kind of like an insurance policy.
Yeah.
If it then transpires further down the line that this person is doing something else and they have then put it in writing dishonestly and then continue to do it, that's really serious.
That's a good idea.
The trap here that often either someone who's got the blinkers on, got the tunnel vision, is I need to get to the bottom of what this person's doing.
Mm.
And they start to think of all these creative ways of how we can monitor somebody and how we can get to the bottom and how we can catch them out. Whereas actually having a conversation with somebody in the first instance, informally, so that we have some concerns, appreciate, cost of living, appreciate, that when we are making efficiencies with AI, it can be very tempting to fill some of our day. However, from a welfare perspective, it's not good for you to be balancing so many duties. If you are going to be working excessive hours, you're probably not going to be sleeping. You're not going to be looking after yourself. The working time regs are there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not split across 2 roles. The working time regs is their entire working time. So if we've got someone who is working excessive hours, we are responsible for making sure that doesn't happen.
It's mad.
So it's in the interest of welfare of our employees that where you are employed full time, that your employment is exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask you to confirm to me, please, that is the case.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not accusing them of doing anything. I'm explaining why we expect somebody gives us their full time and attention and then ask them to commit to it.
I can't imagine anything worse, just personally.
But if you were that employee who, say, is juggling 2 roles, at that point, if I've asked you to do that, alarm bells are going to start ringing.
Oh,
you start
panic.
thinking, I need to either stop what I'm doing,
Yeah,
then they might end up trying to be more careful or whatever, or make a decision between the 2.
I'm going to get caught here.
And it could be, if it's that we want it to stop, we know it's going on, but also we don't want to lose the employee, is that we say, look, if you're honest with us at this point, we are going to ask you to make a decision between the roles.
Mm-hmm.
We can draw a line in the sand after this.
But if it happens again...
and we find out you're still doing it, then at that point, this is going to become very serious. So if someone's given the opportunity at least to release the other role, it's not that they feel like they've got to hide it and they've got to be covert about it. We're building on that trust, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than
flying
a drone outside.
I don't think I've ever seen a work contract that says you are allowed to work on other job. They're mostly like our equipment.
For full-time employees, most will say that you are expected to give your full time and attention during your working hours to the company that's employing you.
Yeah.
And if you want to have any outside interests, that you have to declare them.
Mm.
So at a director level, often companies will ask directors to sign annual declarations of their interests. So if they've got shares in other companies, or they do volunteering, or they sit as unpaid board members, or even big volunteering roles, because of the time drain, and to make sure that there's no conflict of interest, they'll be asked to make an annual declaration.
Is your RNLI thing like that?
Yeah, so the RNLI, I mean, obviously everyone I ever work with, because I never shut up about it, knows that I'm involved with the RNLI. But it's a huge time drain.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
particularly,
and if I think of the number of times I have to go out on exercise and practice, the time I spend at pool at the college, and then actually when we get called out onto missions, the time drain is enormous. So it's always something that I would declare, and particularly because if I am going to be leaving work to go and attend a call out, again, that is something that directly conflicts with my working time. And anyone I've ever worked with just wants to know what my plan is to make sure that there's as little disruption as possible.
In the spirit of transparency.
Yeah.
And honesty in it as well.
Yeah.
Here's a question. What monitoring or auditing measures would be appropriate and lawful to implement for a remote worker?
So weirdly, we don't have a huge amount at our disposal when it comes to monitoring.
No?
So covert monitoring of an employee should be an absolute last resort. And where companies have done this, and companies have, so there's been cases where companies have got private investigators to follow employees, where they've been photographed, they've been filmed, you've got hiding in the bushes with your long lens and all that stuff. That absolutely has to be a last resort. And those sorts of things generally aren't for polygamous working. It's where you've got someone who says they're too sick to work and they're off, doing whatever. And I think it always sticks in my head. I think the one that I always remember is someone who basically said that they couldn't get out of bed and they were seen carrying like 6 bags of heavy shopping out of Tesco and chucking it in the back of the car and, throwing a kid in the air, clearly very physically well. And it was someone who said that they had a chronic back condition.
It's a very British thing to like exploit the benefit system for disability.
Yeah.
It's a very British thing.
Yeah, shocker. Let's not say too much, otherwise I'll end up getting my car petrol bombed or something. But yeah, when it comes to monitoring, the lighter touch is always going to be safer when it comes to the employment world, because we've got that trust and confidence point. If we were to be super invasive, if we've got the PI, if we're flying drones, if we've had software put on someone's computer so that we can use their camera to look at them and monitor their keystrokes and whatever they're doing.
God.
And then it transpires the employee's doing nothing wrong, and that employee finds out, that is a constructive dismissal claim. If there's been that level of intrusion and you haven't been told about it and it's all been covert.
Especially if they work at home.
It's a breach of contract by the employer.
Camera on at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a no-go. It's an absolute no-go. And what I would say is if you're having to revert to even thinking about those sorts of measures, you don't trust that employee. There is already a relationship issue there.
Or you're just paranoid.
But also, why do we think there's a problem? What is it that is prompting us to go, right, I need to monitor this person? What's the trigger? And we've said what the trigger is in the scenario.
They think it's multiple roles.
Because their output's not so good.
Mm-hmm.
So why aren't we performance managing this person?
It should obviously start with a conversation, shouldn't it?
Why aren't we just talking to them, having them in a meeting, saying, this feels like it's been generated by AI. Yes, we have an AI policy. Yes, you may use AI, but the quality of this is not what we would expect.
It's easy as well to check if it is. You can just punch the same prompt into AI and see what it does. Do you know what I mean?
But the first stage is performance management. If we have an issue with their performance, with their output, with their work, with what they're doing, that is what performance management process is for. Yes, the monitoring stuff, it's fun, it's sexy to talk about, and it's like, it can actually make what can be quite a dry job a bit more interesting. But it's not our first port of call. The first port of call should be a conversation with this employee about what is going on.
Absolutely.
But in terms of what's acceptable for monitoring, it's limited.
Okay, so from an employee perspective, monitoring social media without knowledge is bad. From the what is on that? That's a big thing in it. Back in the day, obviously.
I mean, I do say to my clients that if someone's social media isn't private, they're putting it out there.
Mine's not private though. My Instagram. I don't think it should be.
No, but if you're going to go and look at someone's social media as a means of assessing whether they're working or not,
character reference or whatever. Yeah.
They have put that information out there. I do struggle with this because I think if you're someone who says, I've got a terrible arthritic knees and back and I can't possibly move, and then you're putting images on social media of you on a climbing holiday.
Okay, yeah.
I am going to use that as monitoring to get you into a disciplinary to say you've been abusing the sick pay policy.
Right.
I am.
Yeah.
We can have the argument over whether I should be looking at your social media later.
But the fact you can, you've just done your own research.
Yeah, it's there, it's open. Where I think it might be a step too far is if someone's profile is private, so you ask a friend at work who is connected with them to go into their social media and screenshot things because they have access to more things because they're friends.
Okay.
That to me is crossing a line.
Right, okay.
Because it's not public.
Right.
We're having to be more intrusive. Social media is for me is a bit of a grey area. I don't necessarily like reverting to it. People don't necessarily put their true selves on social media. It's the things that they want people to see. So often, if someone goes on a trip or they do something, particularly these days around like security concerns and things like that, it's not live. They're not putting things on the day that they're doing things.
No. It's like weeks after.
Exactly. So for example, for me, yes, I put things on social media, but I always do it when I get back from a trip. I will never post that I am away or that my house is empty whilst I'm away. Not that my house is ever empty. Welcome to my life. There's always somebody in my house, whether they've been invited in or not. Sorry, kids, we love you. But yeah, it's from a security concern. You see it in the press all the time of people's houses have been broken into or cars have been stolen because
they've been away.
Because they've been away and they put it on social media that there's nobody there. So I don't always necessarily think it's the most reliable evidence either. So can we look at it? I think invariably people do. I wouldn't be asking somebody else within a business to look on my behalf, to look at something that somebody has purposefully kept private to then use against them.
It really pissed me off if I was an employee and that happened. It'd feel very intrusive.
And particularly if they've done nothing wrong, you've then damaged the relationship with another employee. And again, it's back to let's have that conversation first. Rather than doing things that are intrusive. And if we are going to bring in monitoring software, so time recording software, keystroke tracking or tracking people's AI, or having a policy around, that you're not allowed to delete your internet history and that you have to disclose it once a month, or there'll be spot checks on internet history and things like that. Those sorts of things we can do, but we need to do it on a wider basis and have justification. So it could be that in our performance management or capability policy, that if we have performance concerns, The first stage will be an informal conversation, but you may also at that point be asked to produce your AI history and your computer history so that we can establish what your working patterns are and how we can best support your performance. But that needs to be in a policy and it needs to be justified.
Right, okay. So that'd be the same for everyone, basically, blanket policy.
And I have used somebody's internet history against them in a disciplinary. So before HRoes, I was asked to investigate someone's internet activity. Similar scenario to this where output was a bit of a concern. We weren't convinced that this person was working all hours of the day. Thankfully, this was back in the time when everyone was working in the office. So we were able to suspend him, take the laptop, and he was watching the football and the snooker and booking holidays and basically spending 6 hours a day doing that rather than working.
You can do both at the same time.
He wasn't.
You can, though.
You can, but he
really
wasn't.
Not hard.
You can, but he wasn't.
Like, you can listen, just listen to stuff and just work.
But then that was easier. We could just take his laptop. Whereas now, when people are working from home and things like that, and this is a point I made in a previous pod about making sure that our performance management and capability policies are up to date with the modern world, which is what measures do we want to be able to put in place or ask someone to disclose or compel them to disclose because it will be in the policies where it's justified so that we can be checking what they're doing so that we're not flying drones outside of their windows and following them in the bushes with a long lens camera because that would be too much.
Drones scare me. They are scary.
I did get a really good one in the Amazon Prime sale.
You've got a drone?
Yeah.
You've got just one?
Just one.
Just one drone? Your first drone?
My first drone. Fritz has had a few, but yeah.
Does he use it for work?
He crashes. Well, yeah, he uses
it for work.
He's a serial drone crasher.
Right.
I'm not very good at manual control, and the one that I got is one that it takes off from your palm, focuses on you, and it just kind of follows you around.
Oh, nice.
So you don't have to tell it what to do. Because what I hate is when I go on trips and invariably every photograph of me, because my husband is terrible at taking photographs, has my selfie arm in it.
Yeah.
So now I've got my little thing that
little
can
helper, just go away and take a picture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Powerful.
It's really cool.
They alarm me so much. They feel I've got one. A guy near me flies his and it goes over my garden and it just like hovers. I'm like, geez, what are you looking at?
Oh no, this thing doesn't go very. It's teeny tiny. Like it could literally fit in my running leggings. It's tiny thing. So yeah, I think if it went higher than probably the roof of a house, it would lose itself and go crash somewhere. Occasionally, my station, you'll get very, very occasionally, you'll get a notification to say that something has crashed into the sea and can we keep an eye out for debris and whatever, and then we have to let Ministry of Defence know that if we found something.
Right.
And we were told years ago that a drone had crashed, or the little, what I'd think of as like a model plane. So in my head, I'm thinking, we're never going to find something that's like this big.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking the size of a football. This thing was the size of a dining table.
Big.
They're huge.
What was it? Was it a drone? It was a drone.
I mean, we didn't find it. I think someone else did. But yeah, when the picture ended up in the press ultimately of this, and this was a piece of it.
Right.
That was the size of a dining table. But yeah, it was either a drone or aircraft or something. They're never actually going to tell you, are they?
Mini
what they
plane.
are. Yeah.
It's flying over Wales. It could be out.
Could be anything.
Could be testing anything, couldn't
Could be anything. But yeah, so what we're saying is, look, the capabilities for monitoring are endless. What's appropriate in an employment context is teeny tiny.
Okay. You started talking about like measures there. Can you think of any other measures that HR departments can take in future?
So updating the policies, having those conversations, keeping up to date with, well, look, if we have got a remote workforce, what environments are we having people working in terms of the software that they're using and things like that. So we can be getting live metrics, but also having a think about, do we modernize the way that we're working? Are we promoting presenteeism, or are we actually bothered about what it is that people are doing, output? Right. So are we output focused, or are we more focused on how present somebody is? I'm not saying that if someone's got a good output that it justifies them having a secret second role. I'm not saying that at all. We can still require someone who works for us full time to just have that role, even if their output is super amazing, they're super efficient and they think they've got all this time. But then if someone is kicking their heels for half the day because they're so efficient, well, there's probably efficiencies to be made in the workforce. Could that person absorb another role?
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at headcount reductions in those circumstances because we're overpaying for labour for people who don't need a full-time job to be doing what they're doing. And that is one of the downsides of the advance in tech and AI, is that we will be seeing shrinkages where people are saying, well, this is great, I can get my job done in half the time. But then if you can't find something else to do for half the time that adds value to your employer,
you finished.
You are AIing yourself out of a job potentially.
I think we've gone too far.
Bring the humans back.
We've gone far. Well, I'm not for him at all, but Andy Burnham's on about devolution, isn't he?
So it's sending more power locally. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of Burnham's politics. The more I read about politics these days, the angrier it makes me. So.
They're all absolute, yeah. But yeah, I think AI's gone too far with what people are going to have left to do.
I mean, I've said it before. Most days I feel like an AI message carrier between models, but yeah, who knows where we're going with it?
It's a dangerous thing, isn't
maybe it? So if the Represent t-shirts have managed to make so much money, maybe I can make like a "Bring the Humans Back" slogan. I could be the start of that movement. Or we can have that on t-shirts and sell them for 53 quid a pop.
Yeah. Anti-AI brandage.
Yeah.
Could be the way.
I mean, we'll leverage it in our business, so let's not get rid of it entirely, but you know.
Yeah, that's one thing at a time. Let's one thing at a time.
Yeah. I like that. It was nice and circular. We went back to the t-shirts.
We did?
We did. It's
wow.
very satisfying.
We've never done that before. Only took 60 podcasts to make it all neat and tidy. That was the closing comments there that I just asked you, like veiled, because I'm just an expert at this now. Veiled in comments about AI. That's all for today. You got nothing else to add?
Nothing from me.
No, I've got nothing because I am just a host. But yeah, we'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Cheers. Until next time, we're your hosts signing off from HRER. Take care of your HR and may your workplace be disaster-free. Before we go, a big thank you to you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have your own ER stories or suggestions for future episodes, reach out to us at HRoes or on social media, or even HRER@HRoes.co.uk. As we navigate the maze of workplace blunders, remember that no organisation is perfect, but by sharing these stories, we can all work towards creating healthier, happier and more productive workplaces.